Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. This month, we are delighted to be welcoming back guest hosts Becca and Danny Rosenberg. Becca and Danny are the co-owners of Rhythm Dance Center in Marietta, Georgia. Now celebrating their 27th season, Rhythm is home to 1,100 amazing students. Becca and Danny are known for their always creative and fun approach to dance and carry that over into all aspects of the studio. In this special 8-part podcast series, Confetti State of Mind, Becca and Danny will be sharing their history, business partnership, and overall positive approach to teaching and running a fun, successful dance studio.
Hey everyone, I'm Danny.
And I'm Becca.
And we want to welcome you to our new podcast series, A Confetti State of Mind. We are super excited and honored to be back as guest hosts for another 8 weeks here on Transform My Dance Studio. We want to thank Clint and Mel for inviting us back for another series. We've had so much fun the last 2 series, so we're excited to be here for the third. The last time we were here on the podcast, it was actually about a year ago, and things have certainly changed since then.
Yes, they have. Just slightly.
Slightly changed.
Slight change.
For everyone involved here. In the very first episode of our very first series back in 2018, we talked a lot about our history and our background. So when you have a second, we'd love for you to go back and check that out so you can find out all the fun details. But if you're listening to us and hearing us for the first time right now, here's just a short version of who we are and what we do.
So I'm Becca, and obviously that
Danny.
was Danny that was talking. We own Rhythm Dance Center in Marietta, Georgia. We are home to about 1,200 students, and we just finished our 27th season. We barely finished it, y'all.
We barely finished
it.
But we did.
It was so crazy. But our studio is very colorful and vibrant and full of energy and full of fun. We have a big recreational program that we love, and we also have a large competitive performing company. And we really try to create an environment where all our students and families feel a part of our fun and positive brand, and overall just the community that we've built over the past 27 years. It's really important to us to create that community and within Rhythm Dance Center.
Yes, it is truly a family at the studio. In addition to Rhythm, we also own Confetti on the Dance Floor. And our mission is to help you make dance fun at your studio. And in order to do that, we have some super fun products such as our Twirl preschool program. We have Wow Cards, Camp Confetti, which are digital downloads, and so much more. We also have a blog where we share lots of information and tips to help you with lots of aspects of your studio. Most of Confetti is just us sharing all the things that we do at Rhythm and how it has helped to build the successful studio that we have. We just really love inspiring dance studio owners and dance teachers all over. You can find out more information on our website, which is confettionthedancefloor.com, and you can also follow us on Instagram at Confetti on the Dance Floor.
So just keeping it real, Confetti on the Dance Floor has definitely taken a bit of a back seat over the past few months as we've dealt with all the COVID-19 things going on. So our main focus has been Rhythm Dance Center and reinventing our business, just like all of you have been doing. It's been a tough time for all of us. So we are so grateful to people like Clint, he's really been doing an amazing job of inspiring us all during this time. And also our fellow dance studio owners. Danny and I have some really amazing studio owners that we're really close with, and we've connected with them almost daily. And I'm sure you guys have done the same. Just to help keep us motivated and, bounce ideas off and
help keep us sane.
Yeah. It's so all that being said, like we have not done a lot with Confetti during this time. And it's just where we are. It's where we've been. It's just being honest. It's been, It's just Rhythm has consumed so much of our time and energy, and that is our number one priority. So
we felt it wasn't fair to try to offer advice when we ourselves were still trying to figure out what it was.
Luckily, we are in the state of Georgia, and we were one of the first states to open up, and we're still not back to business as usual. But I do feel like we have been taking baby steps getting back into our studio, and we are back in the studio now with some summer dance camps and a few open classes, and we're just navigating it all the best that we can.
Yes, it feels great to be back in the studio, but baby steps. So for this new series, we are calling it A Confetti State of Mind, which basically it means choosing happy, staying positive, making lemonade out of lemons, and all of those things. We're hoping to leave you with some inspiration as we enter into the new season with a renewed approach. So today we want to talk about how we stayed consistent with our branding during this entire quarantine and transition time. The word pivot has come up a million times, and we used it so many times, I'm not sure I want to hear the word pivot ever again. But we felt it was really important to stay true to ourselves and to our branding. So branding has always been a huge focus for us. And because of that, it has allowed us to stay creative and show optimism to all of our dancers and our families, even though we didn't always feel that positive going through it. We're also going to give you some action items on branding to think about that you can apply to within your studio as you also try to navigate through these uncertain times and you're gearing up for a new season.
So first of all, just in talking about branding, like literally just using our logo. I think that's the first thing. If you know us, you know that we are big theme people. Our theme for the year this year was called Rhythm Upon a Dream. It was a combination of Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent. So we already had that. Our logo was done. We were on the road to the show. We'd done all the planning and all of that stuff. And then March 13th, all of that changed. All of that stopped. So we still decided, honestly, very quickly, one of our staff members, Emily, it just popped out of her mouth when we literally, I think it was the very first night, like when we closed down, it was on a Thursday night. We, got the news that our school systems were closing. We did not know it was going to be that long, but we ended up closing for a very long time, still pretty much getting back into it. But that very next day, we did a brainstorming session with our key staff, like to try to figure out what we were going to do. And I think she was just like, I know it can be Rhythm Upon a Screen. And we were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we knew we were going to have to go virtual in some aspect, whether it was for a week or 2 weeks or however long. So when that came out of her mouth, we all laughed hysterically.
And it's funny because I think we thought that it was going to be like, oh, this is kind of funny, Rhythm Upon a Screen instead of Rhythm Upon a Dream. It's going to be funny. Like, let's do that. We'll just keep this for a couple weeks while we're closed. Ha ha.
Little did we know
that literally Rhythm Upon a Screen became our mantra. Truly, that's what we did. We were rhythm on a screen. So it honestly, it did work. We went ahead and created a new logo. We had our Rhythm Upon a Dream logo was on this little banner flag that looked like a royalty type flag. And we changed it to an iPad.
Which also looked like a little banner.
Also looked like a banner. So we tried to keep it close to the same, but we just changed it to Rhythm Upon a Screen. And then we immediately went into the hashtag. Like, if you've listened to me ever, I love a hashtag. I love Instagram. So we did the hashtag Rhythm Upon a Screen. We encouraged our dancers to use that. The first week we went into just some pre-recorded content versus the Zoom thing, because we were trying to, just like you probably were, trying to figure out the Zoom thing and how that was going to work for us. So for the first week, we did a ton of pre-recorded content, and we went ahead and used that new logo for the intro and outro of all of the bonus content that we did, all of the pre-recorded stuff. It had our Rhythm Upon a Screen logo, and it went into just basically like a little, legalese that said, please do not share this content type thing on all of our pre-recorded class videos. We also created a sticker immediately, the Rhythm Upon a Screen sticker. We had it printed through Sticker Mule. I don't know if you've used them before, but they're great.
They have a lot of great deals.
Yes, at www.stickermule.com, I think is what it is.
Great turnaround time.
Yes, and they'll do things quickly, which we need that because we're really, really last minute type people. So we immediately had the stickers created, and I had them sent to our office manager's house because obviously we were all quarantined. And I had stamps sent to her and envelopes sent to her. And what I did was we encouraged the hashtag, and anybody that used that hashtag, we put a sticker in the mail to them. So right away, they were hit with fun mail, right? Like right away. So we sent that out to a ton of dancers because honestly, I feel like Instagram became our virtual lobby, I would say. Like, that's what it was.
It was the only place to see them.
That was, yeah. So The stickers were a huge hit. Everybody that got them definitely posted on their stories or whatever when they got it. And it was really fun that we did that. And I think that like I said, like while none of this that we did, I don't feel that it was necessarily groundbreaking, but we used our brand. We shifted immediately into staying on brand, and it allowed our dancers and families to feel that while they were dancing at home.
And also just gave them a sense of comfort too. So they kind of felt like they were at the studio, even though they weren't.
Right. I mean, it definitely united us. I honestly think our Rhythm Upon a Screen hashtag has now surpassed our Rhythm Upon a Dream hashtag, which I don't know if that's good or bad.
If we had made it to our real show, it wouldn't have, but.
Yeah, but it really did. Like I said earlier, since we weren't seeing anyone in the studio on a regular basis, I feel like, that our Instagram kind of became the hub. It kind of became the lobby or whatever for the studio. So that was just like the way that we literally used our logo to brand this time, which was crazy that I even just say that we were branding Rhythm on the Screen, but we were, that's how we were functioning as a studio.
That's how we needed, what we needed to do to keep them engaged and keep them wanting to come back to their screen and paying tuition and coming back when all of this is over with.
Right. So going to an action item, how can you take any of these into the next big thing that you have going on at your studio? I think some ideas would be, think about refreshing your logo. I don't think you need to create at this point. If you didn't do something, don't create it, because let's hope that we're moving out of that. But maybe you want to refresh your logo to give your dancers a renewed sense of what your studio they're coming back into. I feel like everybody's going to feel excitement coming back for sure. So now would be a good time to refresh your logo. Maybe you create a new hashtag. Maybe you create a new campaign going into the new dance season. I love, we have a theme for everything. It's honestly like how we work. And it kind of gives us a
jumping off point for everything we do.
Jumping off point gives us, like, we can center everything around that. It just gives us direction. So for us, immediately going into Rhythm Upon a Screen and using our logo that we already had existing, and we took that as far as we could during this whole time, and it was really helpful and it was really fun.
Yes. Another thing that we've done, and communication is huge. Communication is always going to be huge. It's huge for us. I feel like we're pretty good at communicating with our families and always making sure that they know exactly what's going on and when it's going on. And I feel like we're pretty good at keeping our communication on brand as well. So even though we didn't necessarily know exactly what was going on and when it was going to be going on, we felt that it was super important to keep the lines of communication open with everybody consistently. So on that very first, I think it was the March 13th, 14th.
March 13th was the day we closed.
Was the day that we closed. So we sat down, I think Becca already mentioned this, we sat down with our staff that very night, and we talked through the first email that we were going to send.
Yeah, we literally I don't even know how we did this. We came up with a plan like in 10 minutes. Like it just happened. I think as studio owners, we're constant problem solvers.
Right.
That is a huge part of our day, every single day. And we just kind of went into
fix
mode.
It. We went into fix it
mode. And we had a 4-week plan that we literally
laid out immediately that night.
And I don't think that our email was necessarily perfect that day, but we just felt like we needed to be really transparent with what was happening, even though we didn't really know where it was going at that time.
We still had to have a plan. As leaders, you have to have a plan of some sort, even if it has to be modified along the way. Giving direction to those that are following you is really, really important. And because we're consistent with that, we felt like we needed to stay that way, even though, like I said, we didn't really know what was happening. We were flying by the seat of our pants and making it one day at a time. One thing that Becca and I did is we created a couple of these, but we created a Google Doc. And I know we've talked about this in past series. Mm-hmm. Usually they're more fun, but this one we actually called COVID-19 A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
It was like plan
A, B, C, D, all the way through Z.
Literally, I typed out all 26 letters of the alphabet. And y'all, that document, I mean, we should honestly probably delete it.
I closed it. I couldn't leave it on my desktop any longer.
It is so long. And that is where Danny and I worked every day. We would get on Zoom and we would work, and we literally had 12 different scenarios for everything we were doing.
And we decided during that very first email that we sent out, we went ahead and decided that we were going to do consistent Sunday night email updates. So every single Sunday, whether it was Sunday or Friday or whatever it was, Becca and I would go into that Google Doc and we would talk about what we needed to update everybody on. And on Sunday night, somewhere between 8 and 10 p.m., an email went out, and we really spoke honestly, and we were transparent because we didn't know exactly what was happening. We thought it was better to give everybody scenarios, which isn't always the route we take. We usually don't tell anybody anything until we're 200% confident in what it is. But because we didn't know, we felt it was better to give everybody kind of our plan A, B, C, D. We didn't go all the way to Z with everybody, but with every single Sunday night email, we talked about this is what's going to happen if this comes to play. And this is going to happen if A doesn't work, we're going to go to B and C and D and that sort of thing. So everybody knew that they were going to be looking for that Sunday night email. And then that gave us the rest of the week, honestly, to figure out where we were going to go from there. And when people responded to us and asked us a question during the week, our honest answer was, we'll update you in the Sunday night email as we know more information, because we really didn't know. I think positive wording in all of your communication, that's a common sense thing. And I think we all know that. But it was hard during this crazy time we weren't feeling super positive a lot of times because we didn't know what was happening. But finding the positive wording to share with your families, being thankful and grateful ongoing for their support, their patience, is key, very much a key in keeping the flow of communication. And then jumping to our companies, we have such a strong communication with our companies because we see them so much. They're in the studio every single day. We see them, sometimes 4, 5, 6 days a week. And all of that ended for us and for them. So I think a lot of our studios are already using it, but we started using the Band app just to communicate with our companies. And we set one up for every single one of our companies and all of the company directors. And it was just a great space for them to share and see what each of them were doing. And they were complimenting each other nonstop, which was great. It was really creating a positive flow for them. It was also a space where they were able to upload videos to us, and we went in and gave them individual feedback on every single video. We gave them assignments just to keep them going. So just keeping the communication open and as positive as possible has been really, really important.
And I think that's a huge thing.
Always.
But I think that even though we feel that we do a good job of communicating with our customers during the season, I think it was so important during this time to kind of up that game. And I feel like that's what we really did. And we, like Danny said, we were being honest and transparent, but we also were being super positive because that's who we are, honestly. Like, we are really positive and optimistic.
You have to be.
And even though it was really hard, there were many days that were really hard, but we were like, this is our business. This is our livelihood. This is this culture that we've created. Like, we knew like we were going to do whatever it took to keep it going. And so we just made sure that we were always conveying that in our communication. And
it was harder. It was harder for sure. I feel like we're sometimes we feel like we're running a well-oiled machine, and everybody just knows their job and who's communicating what information, and the emails are similar and they just change out the information, and timing of emails is very consistent, but this was all so brand new. So it was harder, but it was important to keep it as consistent so that our families were receiving what they're used to receiving. So as far as an action item, we want you guys to assess how you communicate with your families and dancers. Are you keeping them updated in a timely manner, no matter what it is that you're doing? How are you communicating with them? Do you have someone on your staff that is really good at writing, someone that's maybe a wordy and that can help you keep your
I will say that you need that. If you don't have that, it is really important. Like, I think Danny and I are both good at writing, honestly. Like, we have been the ones that have done it for a long time, but about 5 years ago, we hired Shelly, who, if you know Confetti on the Dance Floor, you know Shelly because she does everything for Confetti on the Dance Floor. But during this time, she did everything for Rhythm, like as far as like writing. She's an excellent writer. She is definitely like all about that grammar. But she's a good writer. So like, while Danny and I, a lot of times we will we will vocalize what we want to say to her, and then she will put it in words, or we'll just write a rough draft and send it to her and she will make it sound better.
Well, and honestly, especially during this time right now, a lot of our words were coming out from an emotional standpoint.
Yes.
More, and when it's going, to 1,500 email addresses, it can be honest and open, but it doesn't always need to come from my personal emotional state.
Yes, that is a very good
point. And that's why we have people like Shelly and other staff members to proof things, to look through things and say, okay, this part's good. This is might be a little much.
Yeah, and I don't think you necessarily need, you don't have to hire someone, to be a writer, but you likely have someone just on your staff.
Bounce it off of somebody.
That is good at it. Or maybe you have a close friend or family member that you could just get them to look over it. I mean, everyone has, I think, somebody who can just give it that second glance and give you an honest opinion on.
And from another perspective,
right.
Maybe it's, a staff member that has a small child.
Right. I mean, Danny and I do that with everything, honestly. We usually get the opinions of Shelly usually makes it sound better, make sure it's grammatically correct and all of that kind of stuff. But as far as the content goes, we will usually bounce it off of one or two of our staff members that will have a different perspective than we actually have.
And that generates tweaking in our communication. Usually we want to make sure that we're, saying the right thing to the masses.
So the good writer, I think, is good, or just having someone, with a different perspective look at it. And then finally, make sure your wording is consistent with your brand,
Absolutely.
Whatever that is. I said, we're very upbeat and optimistic. So if we sent out a woe is me sad email every Sunday night, that's not creating a positive culture or giving anyone hope. And I think
right.
I think our number one message every single week was that we're not stopping.
We're not stopping.
We're not stopping.
And
dance is not going away. Rhythm is not going away.
This is temporary.
Whatever we have to do, we're going to do that. And even though it was really hard and not always fun, we did it,
Yep.
I mean, I think that there's something for saying something about that. We kept going, but that was our thing.
Was it easy? No. Is it still easy? No, because we're still doing it, but it's important. And you want your customers and your families and your kids to feel this close to the same way as they're always feeling when they hear from you.
Yeah. So I think just that the bottom line is the action items it says how you do communicate with your families and dancers. Make sure that you are updating them. Even if you don't have all the answers, make sure that you are consistently and in a timely manner, letting them know.
Tell them something.
Yeah. Let them know. Even if you don't know, let them know you don't
exactly.
know. I think that they would rather hear that than hear nothing. And then, having someone check it, good writer, and then making sure your wording is consistent with your brand. And all of that advice can go
anytime,
all the time, for any subject.
Yes.
So the last thing that we're going to talk about is being innovative with your brand. So I started in the beginning, just like all of you, and I talked to a lot of you probably that first week. I spent all my time in every dance teacher Facebook group in the world, I think. And I read everyone's comments and I looked at all the websites and I learned so much, and I went to learn about Zoom and I looked at all the different online teaching platforms. That is all I did for a solid, probably honestly, 2 weeks.
I would say a solid 2 weeks.
I just literally buried my head in Facebook and on the internet and looked at what everyone was doing. And that's how we kind of came up with our basic plan, is just learning. Like I said, Clint was great. The dance studio owner group was great. Misty Lown was great. There were so many different Facebook groups.
Yeah, and I think it was really important that we took the time, that we took a solid 2 weeks to figure it out.
Really kind of look at that.
It was all new, so educating was important.
But then kind of after we did that, just like we always have done, then we just kind of put our heads down and got to work and tried to stay in our lane, because I think that it's most important. One thing that's really important to me, to us as Rhythm Dance Center, is that we are doing what is right for our brand and not
our
just
families.
And not just necessarily doing it because everyone else is doing it. So I found that if I stayed in the Facebook groups or stayed overly looking at different things on Instagram, I started questioning what I was doing. And I think that it's really important. Like sometimes you need to take a social media break, or, you know, not look at your favorite brands, or not look on Pinterest, or whatever it is. Like try to look outside of your norm to be inspired. So I think that that's kind of what we decided to do. Like, okay, like we're not going to just do this because it seems like that's what everyone is doing. Let's do what we feel like fits best for Rhythm Dance Center. And we really wanted to like try to create some experiences that felt innovative for our studio.
Yeah. And I think also every studio, while obviously it was super helpful in gathering information, every person commenting is in a different part of the country, in a different area. And studios had different guidelines based on their, you know, their state and their governor's, you know, guidelines were all completely different. So you can get into your headspace when you're reading what somebody across the country is doing, and there's 12 studios all doing the same thing. You feel like you should be doing it, but you actually can't yet.
Right.
Or maybe you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, and I know that was
so.
what happened with us here. Like we've already done our show. Like we did it. Like it was in-house. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But like I know there's a lot of people that probably are listening to this right now that you haven't been able to do that yet. You're still in quarantine. So like that's the thing, is like every state has had a different challenge
which goes back to just trying to, you know, gather your information, then stay in your lane and do what's best for your families at your studio.
Right. So some of the things that we did that we felt were innovative for us and helped work with our brand was our preschool program is Twirl, which is what the product that Confetti on the Dance Floor offers. It's a preschool program. It's not a curriculum. It's an enhancement to your already existing program. We've been using it forever. We honestly created it, I don't even know,
17 years ago.
Really a long time ago, y'all. A long time ago. But we reinvented that when we launched the Confetti on the Dance Floor bland. Not bland. It is not bland, y'all. It is a brand. When we launched that brand, we completely revamped it so that it would work for multiple studios. But anyway, that is the program that we use. And it's a little book. It's a little workbook. It has comes with a little ribbon. You put a rhinestone on at the end of every class. There's a certificate because they do Twirl graduation week at the end of the year. And so what we did is we ended up mailing home everyone's Twirl book. And that was not cheap.
It was
not cheap, but it was worth it. But we got really cute pink envelopes, and our preschool teacher is amazing, Jenny, and along with some of our other preschool staff that helped her, they were all incredible.
All in.
But they put the Twirl book and inside of the envelope, we sent home a little tiny thing of rhinestones for them to put on their ribbon because they had their ribbon at home because it's on their dance bag. They put some confetti in there.
We went ahead and put their certificate in there because we didn't know if we were going to be back in the studio.
And we were not.
So we put their certificate in and asked the moms to put it aside until the end of the season when it was time to give them.
And that little gesture, you guys, went so far.
We put stickers on the envelope.
Oh yeah, we put stickers on it. They got like this personalized hot pink little package in the mail, and it was so well received. Like kids were so excited. So that way, when they had their preschool class on Zoom, because I think we still had like 2 or 3 twirl lessons left, they were able to then look at their twirl book and do their lesson just like they would do if they were at home. In the studio. And then we had sent them the little rhinestone, so they were able to put the rhinestone on their ribbon. So that was great. Also, our preschool teachers did a few craft tutorials and sent them the video of that so that they could do the craft tutorial at home before the actual lesson, the twirl lesson. It wasn't required, obviously, but it was something extra that we did that was good for them. Also, all of our preschool show, like for our preschool dances for our year-end show, we usually have really fun little props for them. And so what we did is we emailed them like coloring pages of their prop. Like, for example, one thing was a spell book. It was a Maleficent little spell book. And we had our graphic designer create the art for that. we emailed it to them. They could print it out, and then we told them to like
glue it on any box
that they had. And so they were able to then use that to practice with. We also had like a little hip hop dance that called Make It Pink, Make It Boom. And they were going to use these little handheld boom boxes that we were going to create out of boxes. And we actually created a coloring page of the boom box and emailed that to them. And then they could color it. And then they also stuck it on a box.
They were putting it on cereal boxes and shoe boxes.
Yeah. So that was just like an extra little thing. So it's basically like DIY props that they could use while they practiced their recital routine. Then when it came time for our shows, we decided that we were going to do a Zoom show because there were so many people. Obviously, we weren't able to like be in the theater or be in the studio even at this point. So we decided, we sent a lot of surveys too.
We did.
We sent out a lot of surveys, just getting to see how many people were comfortable with what, because
we didn't want to put all the time and effort and money and, work into having an in-studio performance if,
they weren't
2% of them were
going to come.
Yeah, so
by the date of our in-house performance, we were able to have a limited number of people in our studio. So we did offer that as an option. And we had kids that did it. Not everyone did it. But our Zoom show honestly went, I think, better than was expected. And it really gave everyone kind of a sense of closure on the year. And a lot of kids created their own backdrops for that. We emailed the Zoom links out that they could share it with their grandparents or their aunt or their uncle or whoever they wanted to watch them do their Zoom performance. We created a video that we had all the teachers screen share during their Zoom class at the beginning of the Zoom show. And that was pretty well received. So Danny and I did a welcome because obviously there was no way for Danny and I to pop into every Zoom class and welcome people. So we just videoed a welcome to everyone, kind of like we would have done
if we were at the
show, but we made sure to thank everybody for their support and all of that good stuff. And then we also created with our company dancers, because for our theme, like I said, was Rhythm Upon a Dream, Maleficent and Sleeping Beauty. And every year the opening number is a pretty big deal. And so we decided to create a music video, and we only did it with kids that were comfortable, and we did it all in an outdoor space. So around our office, it's kind of like an industrial area. Also, everything is kind of closed.
Everything was closed.
There was no one around. So it was really, really easy to do.
There's a garden. There's a big garden. It's actually a cemetery, but it's a giant garden space, wide open grass area. There's empty parking lots everywhere because everybody was closed.
So we were able to, we had each group come one at a time, and not one person at a time, one group at a time. And we filmed them doing sections of their production number. And then I filmed it on actually Danny's iPhone, I think is her. Yes. I think her
Yours
iPhone
died.
Yeah. My iPhone died during quarantine. That was a great experience for me. We'll save that story for another day. But I used Danny's iPhone, and then one of our staff members, Emily, edited it, and she did an awesome job. And we showed that at the beginning of all of our shows, our Zoom shows.
So everybody had an opening number.
And the kids loved that. Like the company kids loved that. It gave them something special to do. And then also I think the other kids just loved seeing the dance video. So that was a really fun thing that we did. We also decided that it was really important because we do so many fun things for our show, like our photo shoots for our graduating seniors. We do a big program every year that has a lot of really fun photos in it. We do goodie bags for all of our students every year. On our goodie bags, we do like a little bag tag, luggage tag, personalized with their name on it and the logo. So we wanted to go ahead and do that. We just felt like we didn't want to just not
cut the end of the year off like it didn't exist. So 7 months of this year really did happen, and we felt that it was important to finish as strong as we possibly could.
So we wanted everybody to just, even if they didn't participate in the in-house studio, the in-studio performance, we did goodie bags for everyone. We did them exactly the same way we would normally do them. We did a program. The program was much smaller than it normally is, but we still did it. So we listed out every class with every person's name. We did the photos. We did our summer info in there, and So we're still actually giving those out because not everybody came in for the in-studio performance. So like we're still giving out goodie bags and programs to everybody. We did little tattoos inside there. We do tattoos every year.
So affordable.
What is that, Danny?
24-hour wristbands is the website.
24hourwristbands.com is where we get the tattoos. They're super cheap. And
super
so
cheap.
fast.
It's so easy. Like 24 hours, you get them back. And it's such an easy upload process.
We also do a CD with some of our the music that we remix on our own, like that we create for the show. We've been doing that for a long time. And so we decided to keep doing that. And I know that CDs don't really, like I always say every year, I'm the person who loses the battle because we're still doing them. But I'm like, no one uses CDs. But apparently a lot of people really do like the CDs. They listen to them in their cars.
A lot of people's cars still have CD
Obviously,
players.
if they have a CD player, they can import it in. But anyway, we're still doing that and people love that.
But the label is branded with everything else on the CD.
Yes, it was branded. We also did t-shirts still. We did do a pre-order this year rather than just like ordering them and letting anyone buy them at the event. We did a pre-order. So we still, that was really important. We kept the Rhythm Up on a Dream branding tied to all the things that we would normally do. So that was, I think that was just as important for us as it was for the kids.
Absolutely.
Because we've been doing this a long time and it was going to be so sad to not be able to do any of that stuff. So we did it. And then for the in-house studio performance, we decided to we wanted to do it like it was a little bit of an experience. So we had the flow down really well. The kids came in through a door, they rehearsed in one room, they went down a hallway, they did their performance, they went through another door, and then we just kind of had them weave through the studio, and we created these different photo ops based on the theme. So we had like Maleficent wings with it said, "I put a spell on you." We had these big fairy wings. We had a castle that we crafted all this stuff. So this is all stuff that we would have done for our show. We actually did all of our props. Even
we went ahead and did them.
We did them all.
Pretty much.
And they were so cute. So it was really sad, but we did it. It wasn't sad. It was sad that we weren't in the theater, but it was happy that we were able to still do them.
Yes. And they're going to it's going to stay up all summer so people can take pictures all summer long.
And so that was our plan, is like, because no one's really using our lobby right now, we're going to have a couple of times throughout the summer where they can come in and take advantage of the photo ops. Like if they want, even if they weren't comfortable coming into the in-house performance, they can
almost schedule an appointment to come in,
wear their costume, come in and do some cute photos. So that was a fun thing that we did as well. So I think that our action items for this would be to try to pick one or two things. Maybe some of these things gave you some ideas that you could bring to your studio that's unexpected or new. I think anytime you add something different, it creates excitement. So even if it's something, I know a lot of people did like the red carpet recital thing, which I thought was a great idea.
Super cool.
So I know a lot of you guys have already done that. So, maybe you take it a step further and create, for when they come back in for open house, create a fun photo op for the dancers or something like that. Or if you're still doing Zoom this summer, maybe you do the thing like we talked about, like email some DIY props home for them to use, email some craft tutorials, create a video for them to do, something like that. Or maybe you can do some type of little video with your company dancers if you have an outdoor space that's safe to do that in, or a smaller space. Anyway, just trying to create some different things, think outside the box, that would create some excitement for your dancers at your studio.
Keeping them engaged, yep.
While all building your brand. That's the bottom line.
Of course.
Yes.
So yeah, we know that the last few months have been very big, huge, actually, challenge for everyone, for all of you, for us, no matter where you are in this world. It's not even the country, wherever you are in the world. This has been a tough time to navigate. It's been tough mentally. It's been tough physically and financially. We just hope that you're able to take some of the things that we've talked about today and find some ways to incorporate them into your studio for a renewed sense of energy and positivity. As hard as it is to even get out of bed sometimes during this, we've got to find ways to keep the positivity flowing and to keep your kids and your dancers and your families engaged and on that positive train.
Yes.
Till we get past all of this.
Yes. And we're hopefully On our way.
On our way.
That's what we're hoping for. So thank you guys so much for listening today. If you've made it to the end, and this one I think is a little longer than we had anticipated, but we're going to be back next week. And for the next, I guess, over the next 7 weeks with a brand new episode of Confetti State of Mind. And also you can see what we're doing on social media. You can find us at Rhythm Dance Center. That's our studio, and at Confetti on the Dance Floor. I will be honest with you. Like I said earlier, Confetti on the Dance Floor has been pretty quiet, pretty chill during this whole thing, only because, like I said, we've been focusing on our studio. We're hoping that over the next couple of months, we're able to reinvigorate that brand a little bit.
Back in the swing of things.
And get back in the swing of things, and hopefully give you guys some more inspiration through there to help you. And we would love to hear from you and love to know what you would like to hear about from us. So you can feel free to DM us on Instagram on either of those accounts, Rhythm or Confetti. And I think that's it. We hope you guys have a great week.
Yes. Have a great week. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Dance Studio Doctor, powered by the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. Don't forget to join us over in the Dance Studio Owners Hub Facebook group for more resources and support in growing the dance studio of your dreams while reclaiming your life.